How does the DreamWorks Fisher Boy sit on a crescent moon? The rest of the moon is still there, right? I want to know what happened to the moon. And is the Earth dead yet? And I don't care if you have bait that gives fish orgasms. Fishing on the moon usually yields negative results. Damn, Spielberg out-Disney's Disney by 5 seconds for a massive 32-second logo.
This is Burke.
Cliche narration is cliche.
The only problems are the pests.
How does a village have the money to support life with constant dragon attacks? These dragons are not only stealing their revenue, but also causing constant damage. And who has kids in an environment like this? Who are the real monsters here? Wooden door sustains dragon fire.
My name's Hiccup. Great name, I know.
Hiccup later explains that his parents believe a terrible name will ward off gnomes and trolls, but we all know it's because his parents believe in the power of cartoon marketing.
I've been his apprentice ever since I was little. Well, littler.
The point of Hiccup is that he's weak and an underdog, but how can you work in a shop like this for years without building some muscle, and at the very least look bigger than Shaggy?
Oh, and that's Fish Legs, Snot Lout, the twins, Rough Nut and Tough Nut.
Wait, am I supposed to know which one is which? It feels like the filmmakers knew I'd want to be able to know who's who throughout this film, but only half-assed the solution.
Killing a dragon is everything around here.
But they give you names in order to ward off trolls and gnomes. Dragons, no big whoop, go kill one. Gnomes, we need to protect you from those bitches with the terrible first name of voodoo power. Wait, that worked? Wasn't he just talking about how it needed calibrations? Wasn't he firing basically blind? Is this all due to luck or screenwriter ex machina? Because Hiccup is the protagonist, this dragon chooses to bite at him rather than breathing fire or just stepping on his ass. That's not how fire works. Yeah, but he still has wings and a powerful set of jaws, right? Just because sharks run out of laser beams doesn't mean they can't kill anymore.
Oh, and there's one more thing you need to know.
There's one more thing you need to know, narration cliche.
Dad.
Somehow, in this uber badass culture where even the weakling kid works with a blacksmith and has the biggest badass father of them all, this kid still grew into a wimp.
I can't stop myself. I see a dragon and I have to just kill it.
That's another thing. Maybe I can see this kid growing up a wimp. Maybe. But somehow developing a Jay Baruchel accent instead of the Scottish accent these Vikings apparently possess, even though Vikings are Norse? But still, how do you get that?
I have his mess to clean up.
You mean the mess Hiccup made was in any way disproportionate to all the other dragon damage that occurred in the last 30 minutes?
Excuse me, barmaid. I'm afraid you brought me the wrong offspring.
It's like someone at Pixar just got drunk, watched this movie, swapped a gender or two, and Brave was born.
If we find the nest and destroy it, the dragons will leave. They'll find another home.
Or they'll get really super mad at you and burn your entire existence to a crisp. I'm just saying, you seem way surer of this supposed outcome than you have any reason to be. Also, during that entire dragon attack, did absolutely no one die?
Now who's with me?
Today's not good for me.
Is he the f***ing leader or what? Why is he even asking permission? You didn't hear it, but the subtitles tell us that someone just said, I have to do my axe returns. The filmmakers were wise not to make that audible.
Goes hunting for trolls.
Trolls exist. They steal your socks.
If all trolls do is steal socks, why are we so afraid of them that we name our children stupid like Hiccup just to avoid them?
Hiccup is not that boy.
Father disappointed his son isn't more like him cliche. Gotta admit, the look of this movie, which owes a lot to Roger Deakins, is downright amazing, and we can remove at least 3 cents for that.
I managed to lose an entire dragon.
Well, that dialogue is awfully coincidental to your forest findings. Dragon adorability is a trait I cannot believe they evolved during the time they also evolved fire, claws, jaws, and all sorts of killer
All dragons have a limited number of shots. How many does a Gronkle have?
It doesn't matter the number because it misses on every shot. Gronkle will now waste inordinate amounts of time hawking a fire loogie so that he can be saved at the last second.
A dragon will always go for the kill.
Except during this training session.
Why read words when you can just kill the stuff the words tell you stuff about?
Discount Steve Holt. For some reason, Hiccup waits until nighttime to come back to this dragon manual. Probably because he knows that when people learn stuff about things, you need to set a certain mood. Movie takes its book solve everything cue from Buffy and Harry Potter. Entire Viking existence seems to revolve around dragons, as opposed to, Vikings.
I'm really beginning to question your teaching method.
So am I.
Look for its blind spot. Every dragon has one.
What? Really? But why? That seems like a huge evolutionary flaw, actually. I mean, should you even be training with dragons capable of wiping out your entire training grounds in 10 seconds?
Our parents' war is about to become ours. Figure out which side you're on.
Okay, Astrid seems like kind of a dick. He's clearly on the human side. Just because he's terrible at dragon fighting doesn't mean he wants to see all humans killed. Jesus. Luckily, dragons understand human gestures that mean I come in peace. Despite the fact that I don't think dragons would ever evolve to be this cute, you gotta admit, Toothless is a pretty likable character. And, well, he has to be in order for this to work. I'm not made of stone, damn it. Dragon that understands that kicking a knife in the water means peace is definitely confused about the I want to pet you gesture for some reason. So, I can see why people are afraid of smaller things like snakes and spiders, but why would a dragon have any reason to be afraid of eels, ever?
Don't you mind me? I'll just get back here.
Hiccup thinks he can just attach his invention to Toothless's tail without him knowing or caring. And even though nothing happens, this is some presumptive right here.
It's as if survival are dwindling into single digits now.
You guys have been non-stop training for days now, and since when did anybody ever get as much as hurt, much less die so far?
Now think about what you've done.
Why would you throw the eel into the cage? People could easily figure out your newfound cheat method, and now you've got to find another eel. Also, how in the world does nobody see this from this vantage point? And what about this gray-haired random person watching from outside the cage? And what happened to all the smoke and gas that was here just 10 seconds ago? Hiccup saw Toothless rolling around in grass a second ago, and makes the huge assumption that holding out a handful of it will make the dragons docile. And again, how does no one notice this? Also, Hiccup keeps learning things with this one species of dragon that somehow work for all species of dragons. Hiccup brings a deadly and feared dragon that he loves into his town that wants to kill dragons. And they make noise right when Astrid is walking nearby, because the script said so, of course.
He can barely walk through the village without being swarmed by his new fans.
That's another thing. Hiccup's popularity is such that I don't understand how a big fan of his hasn't secretly followed him to his hideout to see the dragon training. Hiccup luck-sacks his way back onto the dragon after many seconds of free-falling. While Hiccup rides this dragon, I can't help but think, discount Atreyu and Falcor. Elder, who's had an amazing view of all the training so far, still hasn't seen Hiccup do any of his cheats.
I can't wait. I am so leaving.
Wait, he won the honor of killing the dragon, but they didn't make him do it right there in the ring? Is it so he has time to figure out a solution? Finally! You'd think someone as suspicious as her would have figured this out days ago. What the hell is she holding on to? Her legs are in the air and her hands are in no position to keep her from falling off. If anyone can fly around in a movie, you can bet the movie will dedicate 5% of its runtime to flying around. Kid flies his dragon super close to his hometown Viking village that lived for killing dragons. Tyrannosaurus Smaug. No, discount T-Rexilla. It's one of those two.
What are you looking at?
Man, someone could score a viral hit with a supercut of all the animated movie characters who have said this to their animal sidekick in a lame attempt at comedy.
Promise me it won't go wrong.
Requesting unkeepable promises. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this dragon competition arena is even more deadly and unsafe than the one in Goblet of Fire. Toothless hears Hiccup screams from, I think it's 5 miles away. During the entire time Toothless tried to fly out here earlier for survival, he never found this relatively easy wall to climb.
They killed hundreds of us!
Never on screen, though.
Don't know what you're up against. It's like nothing you've ever seen.
Hiccup says vague bull like this, instead of there are 50,000 dragons there and one the size of a f***ing mountain.
You're not my son.
This asshole finally says what everyone has always known he thought, and it's presented as some whammy moment.
I bet he's really frightened now. What are you gonna do about it?
And of course he thinks of what to do immediately after she says this.
Some, not me, are wondering if there is in fact a plan at all, and what it might be.
Find the nest and take it.
At first, we sin the fact that this unquestioned leader had to go to council. Now that we know there's a council, since when can Stoic just do whatever the hell he wants? Earlier when they went out to find the nest, he had to appeal to a council of some sort. Now he can just lead a bunch of men into boats without any knowledge of what they're getting into. Sure, Toothless is giving directions now, but they had to get to this point for it to happen. How did they know which direction to sail in the first place? I'm impressed this totally male-dominated society has a woman warrior. Too bad they couldn't give her a line. I do not believe you can punch holes in mountains by lobbing small rocks at it. I just don't think that makes any logical or scientific sense at all. Even if the mountain is hollow and has walls this thin, you're still on thin ice with me, movie. Damn, this Indominus Godzilla waited so long to breathe fire on Stoic he allowed time for an ex machina. Also, this actually might be the worst part of a good movie. How do you get dragons, which fear their giant master so much, to attack said master? Not only that, these kids managed to learn how to fly dragons at the speed of improvisation, a skill which took months for Hiccup to learn. Oh Jesus, the shackles and fire weren't enough phony rescue tension. Now we have to sit through a he definitely won't drown either scene. Why hasn't Toothless chewed or laser breathed his shackles off yet? This is such an awesome noise. He's all business, but there's still that bond underneath it. Once and removed for a pure character moment.
I'm sorry. For everything.
Dad thinks this is the right time for this.
I'm proud to call you my son.
Oh my god, do this later!
I'm on it first!
These characters have been so undeveloped, I had no idea there was some sort of competitive rivalry between them until this scene, nearly at the end of the movie. Luckily, it services the plot.
No, I can't believe that worked!
Me either! This asshole chases them a long time without firing his killer breath, because protagonists. Well, they're both going to survive this, and the movie isn't going to give two shits about explaining it, so sin for sure. You see, because Toothless basically lost a body part that helped him move around, it only makes sense that Hiccup lost something of his own because symmetry and stuff. Hiccup learns he lost a leg, and learns to walk on the new artificial leg all in the span of 1 minute.
This is Burke.
Repeating earlier narration, only this time with new understanding or irony cliche.
It snows 9 months of the year and hails the other 3.
That's hilarious, but not only is it nice and sunny as you're saying this, but I don't think I've seen it snow or hail in this movie. Maybe it was snowy earlier on, I don't remember, but definitely no f***ing hail in this flick. Happy ending, but don't dragons live for hundreds of thousands of years? This is actually a tragedy if you think about Toothless lonely and on his own for decades after Hiccup dies. Kinda like that Futurama episode about Fry and his dog.
Thank you for nothing, you useless reptile.
It's located solidly on the meridian of misery.
Well, if there's a bright center to the universe, you're on the planet that it's farthest from.
And winter is coming.
Scaldron sprays scalding water at its victim. Extremely dangerous.
But it's only a story. It's not real. It's only a story.
I can show you the world.
I am the last one.
And Astrid.
I finished sending this film and I still have no idea how to train my dragon. I could have skipped this whole damn movie if someone had just created thisisactuallyhowtotrainyourdragon.com using Squarespace. So I went ahead and created thisisactuallyhowtotrainyourdragon.com using Squarespace. This would have been a ridiculous waste of time in service of a bad joke if Squarespace wasn't so damn easy and intuitive to use. And at $8 a month, how could we not? Now I'm the proud owner of a professional looking site that has the power and stability to reach a wide audience of humans needing to know how to train their little hellions into kind and considerate giants. So start your free trial site today with no credit card required at squarespace.com. When you do decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure to use the offer code SINS to get 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace, build it beautiful. And seriously guys, we built the website, and there's a lot of stuff on it. Go check it out.